All right, I hope everyone had a excellent holiday, a Merry Christmas, or whatever you celebrate. And I'm hoping that everyone, got to visit a lot of family and ate a lot of really good food and unwrapped presents. If that's your thing or whatever your thing is, I hope you did it and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm kind of glad for it to be over personally, just because the holidays are always kind of stressful. I miss it, of course, but and I'm sad it's over now that it's over. But at the same time, it's kind of a relief because we get sort of a break, for the next few months or so. So I'm not complaining, by any means. But I watched a lot of good movies. I haven't really been uploading, frequently, like I'd like to. I've just been really busy and had a lot going on, and I have more to say about that, at the end of the video. But for now, I wanted to talk about Nosferatu because it was released Christmas Day. I know a lot of people have already gone out and see it. I did not go see it Christmas Day. I actually went and saw it last night. Me and my wife went. There was a 10:30 showing at our theater, so and she had to work late, so we decided to go check it out. And let's see, I've been waiting on it for honestly years. I remember when several years ago. I don't remember. I want to say probably 2018, 2019. I remember seeing a screenshot and or a poster or something, with the title Nosferatu, and it had Robert Eggers' name on it, and I was so excited to that was coming out, and I was a big fan of Robert Eggers. Of his films that he'd been doing so far. I thought everything he'd done so far was great, and I think at the time the only thing he had was, or the only films he had done was. Let me see. He had The Witch, of course, which I love. The Witch. I saw that when it first came out, and oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. He did The Witch and the Northman, but I don't think he had done that film just quite yet. And oh my Lord, what is the name of that other movie that he does, or that he's done? The Lighthouse, with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. I'm sorry, but I really enjoyed The Lighthouse as well. It wasn't my favorite film of that year, but it was definitely a pretty good movie, and I enjoyed it. It was very artistic, very dark, and very gloomy. And so when I heard that he was going to be doing a rendition of Nosferatu, I was very excited. If you know, I'm a huge Dracula fan, big Nosferatu fan, which they are, essentially they are the same story. They're, Nosferatu was based on the story of Dracula, and just, the names were changed to avoid, copyright issues way back in the day, before Dracula was actually public domain. So that's kind of just a brief, you can look that up, if you want to. But Nosferatu to me definitely is its own film, and it kind of stands alone as its own film, and it just has this very otherworldly kind of atmosphere to it. That's one thing about the original that always stood out to me. So I was wondering how they were going to go about, emulating that, in this new one. And it was supposed to come out in 2022, I believe. That's whenever I saw that it was going to be released, way back when, like when I'm talking about, and I saw the, little article about it or whatever it was. I heard, 2022, and I was like, well, that's perfect. That would have been the 100-year anniversary of the original film, this original film, F.W. Murnau's Nosferatu. It came out in 1922, so I thought that was perfect. And of course, because of COVID and other things, I'm sure it got delayed. But it was absolutely worth the wait. I've been so pumped. I remember I first heard. I don't remember what we went to see, but I remember seeing a trailer for it at the theaters for something earlier this year, and I was pumped. I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited! I can't wait to see this. It looked amazing. It had that Robert Eggers kind of style to it. And I was immediately just enthralled, and I was so ready to see it. And I was hearing all these great things, and just I had these really, really high expectations, and my expectations were absolutely met fully, with this new film. So I'll start off by saying a few of the things that I like about the original Nosferatu. And this isn't a review. This is just a first impressions video. So I like to do these, right after I go see the film in theaters. And, especially if it's a remake or something, and kind of compare it to, or just kind of give my first thoughts of seeing, of what I've seen. And, So the things I like about the original Nosferatu are it has this really eerie, sort of dreamlike atmosphere to it. Even though it is a silent film, and but it has a very heavy mood to it, and it's a very kind of peaceful movie. This is one of my favorite movies to fall asleep to. I know that sounds kind of shitty, I guess, but it's just so lulling and it's so cozy. This is one movie I can put on and I will almost, I'll almost always fall asleep. Especially if it's late at night, and I love the look of Count Orlok. Of course, I love this story, of Dracula. This one, of course, just the character names being changed and it being, having some slight differences. But honestly, Nosferatu is decently close to the novel from what I remember. But I just love the original. It's a German expressionist horror film, and it's so great. I love the original Nosferatu. Nosferatu is one of my Max Schreck. Playing Nosferatu, he's one of my favorite characters, horror icons, horror characters. His silhouette is just iconic. It's when you see it, you know exactly who that is, exactly what that is from. And of course, there was another remake from the '70s of Nosferatu. I'm sorry, that had a few differences as well, and I like that movie as well. But I think that it definitely wasn't really, especially this new one. It didn't really draw anything from that one, from what I remember. And maybe I'll do a comparison video of all of them one day. Whenever I get to see the new Nosferatu. But that's really kind of what I like about the original one, and of course it's probably, I think, the oldest movie in my collection, if I'm not mistaken. But I still watch it, especially around Halloween time and around Christmas time. It's a great movie for that time of year. And so getting into this newer film, I can say that how can I put this? They took all the atmosphere really from this movie and they modernized it, in a way, in that kind of Robert Eggers style. And I really love that. This movie is, talking about the new one now, it's very full of, very dark, very, very moody, very grim, just very, very, kind of dark, setting. Everything that's going on is just so gloomy and dreary, and it really fits with the story that's going on. And I like how Robert Eggers, he didn't do just a straight on remake, of the classic film, but he kind of interwove some certain things from the novel and some certain things from Nosferatu. So he kind of mixed both of them together. And he also excellent cast. In this movie we get Willem Dafoe. Johnny Depp's daughter is in this film. I cannot think of her name off the top of my head. I apologize. Of course, Bill Skarsgård is playing Count Orlok, and he does an excellent job. He's unrecognizable as Count Orlok. If I didn't know it was Bill Skarsgård, I would have had no idea. I love the look of Nosferatu, of Count Orlok. I love the look of him in this film. He looks amazing. I think that they drew, again, a little bit more from the novel of Dracula rather than just making a straight clone of the Max Schreck, Count Orlok, even though he does resemble the Max Schreck, Count Orlok. This is definitely very much its own thing, and I really appreciate that Robert Eggers did that, because you don't really get to see Orlok in the trailer much. So I was really curious as to what he would look like. And again, I remember seeing a screenshot or a still image years ago, and it did look a lot more like this Nosferatu, this Count Orlok, I should say, and I remember it looking just fine and looking great, but I'm really glad that they decided to go kind of in a different direction. And Robert Eggers did, again, like I said, did his own thing. He wasn't just trying to copy, straight up make it look exactly like the original, the original 1922 film. I love it. This movie is so beautifully shot. It's probably one of the best shot movies of all year, to be honest with you. I was totally captivated. the whole time watching this movie. And I don't know if I'm just cursed because of Nosferatu, or if it was being one of my sleepy movies, or if it was the fact that we went so late, or if it was just because of all the snow and the castles and the things like that in this new film. But I started getting so sleepy. We went to see this movie about 10:30, and normally, I'm asleep probably about 11. Me and my wife both, we're kind of early crashers normally. So normally I'd have been asleep. The last movie that we went to see so late was Alien Romulus, and that one wasn't as long, so we ended up getting out a little early. But this film, I think we got out about 1:15, if I'm not mistaken. 1:15 a.m. So it went on, and I was really tired. Kind of at the midpoint. And I was kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I was starting to doze off. I didn't doze off, but I was starting to, and thankfully it ended just in time before I really did fall asleep. But I was very cozy in that theater. Very cozy watching this movie. It just kind of, and again, I don't know if it's just, I'm blaming it on the atmosphere, just because it is a really dark and cold, and snowy kind of movie, but it really, it's very cozy to me. And also it was a very dark and very stormy night last night, so that fit as well perfectly. We couldn't have gone to see this at a better time. And also the music in this movie is phenomenal. That's something I want to touch on before I forget. But this movie had excellent music. Like I said, it was shot well. Just everything was great. I was very pleased with it. It absolutely lived up to my expectations and then some. I'm also really glad that Robert Eggers decided to tap into some of the what do you want to call it? Some of the history and the lore of vampires, besides just, again, telling the straight Dracula narratives. There's some different things that are done in there that I think really fit the tone of the movie, great, the whole, the cult stuff and things like that. So I really enjoyed seeing that. Robert Eggers is, of course, a big history guy, and he nailed it. I mean, the costumes, the accents, just the way everything looks, the dialect, just everything is perfect, as far as the history is concerned, I should say. I'm sorry, there's noise outside. But I was very pleased. I was very happy to see it. I can't wait to see it again. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I've heard some people kind of trashing on it a little bit here and there. But I don't know if I would say it's my favorite movie of the year. I'd have to probably sit down and really think about it, but it's definitely the best shot film of the year, and the best the film that had the best tone to it, the whole of the entire year. Just everything that was going on, the little subtle nuances. I love the when we see Count Orlok, you just see his shadow, or that shot we get from the trailer where the hand is just coming over the city in shadow. Just little stuff like that was just excellent, perfect. It was a chef's kiss. It was great, and I think it was absolutely a worthy remake of the 1922 classic, which is a phenomenal movie as well. If you haven't seen it, absolutely check it out. I really look forward to seeing it again. As I probably just said a minute ago, I really liked it a lot. It was great. I think it definitely deserves all the hype that it gets, and I think you should see it. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check it out. I highly, highly recommend it, especially in a theater. I think it's a perfect theater experience. And this was actually the first Robert Eggers movie I got to see in theaters, and a lot of his movies are ones that I would love to have seen in theaters, especially The Northman. I would have killed to have seen that in theaters. But I'm really glad I got to see this one, at the theater. I made it a point to go. Me and my wife both were really excited. So that's kind of my thoughts on Nosferatu from 2024. Highly recommend it. I will do a more in-depth review of it eventually, probably whenever it comes out on Blu-ray, and I can watch it again. Or if I go to the theaters and see it again, because I'm talking about doing that too, then maybe I'll do it then. But probably not on that, because that leads me to my next thing I was going to talk about. So with all the holidays and stuff like that going on, and the new year, and it's just been really stressful, and I've just had a lot of stuff going on. I'm probably going to take a little bit of a break for a little while. If anybody's even listening to this, I will pick it back up again after the first of the year, because I still have a whole lot of movies I want to talk about. And I appreciate anyone who does watch these videos, but I just wanted to take a little break for a little while, just a short hiatus. But I'll be back, after the holidays and after the first of the year, and I've got some stuff planned. I was thinking about even changing the format of the channel just a little bit, but we'll see how that goes. We'll cross that bridge whenever we come to it. Until then, I hope everyone has enjoyed all the videos I've done so far. I guess this marks the end of season 1. Of DVD Graveyard, and I'm just topping it off with this Nosferatu. Nosferatu seems to be a recurring theme in my videos, because I think in my Halloween list I did Nosferatu as my #1 film, and then Last Voyage of the Demeter as my last film on that list. So, and that leans more into a Nosferatu than just the traditional kind of look of Dracula. But yeah, that's all for me until now, and until next year, I guess. And I appreciate all you guys watching. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and has a Happy New Year. And until next time, goodbye and have a nice day.